All right, let's roll. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the City Council meeting held in City Council chambers at 8 North Elmhurst Road in the city of Prospect Heights, Illinois, at the time of 5:33 on April 24th, 2017. All right, let's make sure we have a quorum. Let's call the roll, please.
Alderman Messer.
Here.
Alderman Williamson.
Here.
Alderman Ludwigson.
Here.
Alderman Rosenthal. Here. Alderman Dolick.
Here.
All 5 aldermen are present, therefore we have a quorum. And we can stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please, by Deputy Karen Schultz.
I pledge allegiance to the
Flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We ask the invocation be presented by Betty Cloud of the St. Alphonsus Liguori Church.
Mr. Mayor, good evening. Ladies and gentlemen of the council, I ask that you bow your head as we pray. Dear wise and loving Father, first let me say thank you on behalf of all who are gathered here today. Thank you for your many and abundant blessings. Thank you for life itself and for the measure of health that we need to fulfill our callings. Thank you for the ability to be involved in useful work and for the honor of bearing appropriate responsibilities. In the scriptures, you have said that citizens ought to obey the governing authorities, since you have established those very authorities to promote peace, order, and justice. Therefore, I pray for our mayor, for the various levels of city officials, and in particular for this assembled council. I am asking that you would graciously grant them the ability to work together in harmony, even when there is honest disagreement. I pray for the agendas set before them today. Give them the assurance of what you please, which would please you, and what would benefit those who live and work in and around the city of Prospect Heights. It is in your most blessed name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. Mr. Administrator, why don't we let people know who else is here first, which I didn't do. Starting with
Stephanie Hannon, Finance Director.
Dan Peterson, Director of Building and Development.
Wendy Morgan Adams, City Clerk.
Joe Wade, City Administrator.
Kevin Carney, City Attorney.
Karen Schulteis, Deputy Clerk.
and the Chief
Al Steffen, Police Chief.
and the Treasurer.
Rich Tibbetts, City Treasurer.
Thank you, Rich. Good to see you. All right, moving on, approval of minutes. Mr. Administrator, Joe, would you handle some of this stuff?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, everyone. Item 5 is approval of minutes. And first, we have February 25th, 2017 budget workshop minutes and the April 10th, 2017 regular workshop meeting minutes. Are there any additions, corrections, changes? And if not, we could do an omnibus motion to approve these minutes, if there's a motion.
Motion, please.
Move for an omnibus motion to approve the minutes of both.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Motion, second, discussion, none. Roll call.
Alderman Messer.
Aye.
Alderman Williamson.
Aye.
Alderman Ludwigson.
Aye.
Alderman Rosenthal.
Aye.
Alderman Dolick.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Presentations, there are none this evening,
There are none.
which brings us to item 7, appointments, confirmations, and proclamations. And we do have an appointment for consideration of Mr. Kempa to the Plan Commission Zoning Board of Appeals.
Last meeting, the council asked that Mr. Kempa be in attendance. I reached out. Mr. Kempa is here this evening. Machi Kempa is here. You all got his information, so I wanted to introduce you. Stand up.
Good evening. Why don't you come to the podium, identify yourself, tell us where you live, and why in the world would you want to work at night?
Hi, my name is Maciej Kempa. I live in at 110 West Kenilworth in Prospect Heights. I'd like to, I was presented with an opportunity to join the board. It'd be a fantastic experience, give a little to the city and be part of the community.
All right, what kind of experience do you bring?
I am a engineer. I've been working in the engineering field for the past 20 plus years. My engineering experience varies from design to construction to valuations. So I work in industry which was very heavy regulated. The designs that I produce conform to those regulations and guidelines, and I think they could be useful, even though it's not in building industry per se. It is in sensitive food industry, which I think could be of benefit.
Good, thank you. Questions, please, Alderman Williamson?
Engineering is a lifestyle. Doesn't matter what facet you're in, but I thank you for stepping up.
Good, Alderman Messer?
I have no questions.
Who do we have on a turn here? No one? Alderman Golick?
No questions.
Alderman Rosenthal?
No questions.
Alderman Ludwigson?
No questions. Thank you.
Thank you for coming this evening. It's a pleasure to welcome you to the PZB board. You'll get your letter of assignment if you haven't gotten it already. And we meet every night for the next 2 months.
Fantastic.
We'll see you
have a little
Thursday.
extra time on my hand. It's going to work out just fine.
All right, you're aware of the meeting on Thursday,
Yes.
all right? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And you don't have to stay here if you don't want to.
Oh, I'd love to stay.
There's 100 people here, so we're okay.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Moving on.
Item 9 is staff elected officials and commission reports, and beginning with Chicago Executive Airport report, and Betty Cloud's doing double duty tonight, so.
Excuse me, before we go on to that, are we moving to approve the appointment?
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought we did.
I thought
No,
we
we
did
did.
last time, but maybe we didn't. Motion to
Yeah.
approve the appointment.
So moved.
We need a second,
Second.
and let's do a roll call so we're all excited about this.
Okay. Alderman Dolick.
Aye.
Alderman Rosenthal.
Aye.
Alderman Ludwigson.
Aye.
Alderman Messer.
Aye.
Alderman Williamson.
Aye.
Motion approved, you are formally now a member of the PCB board. Thank you.
You went from 7 to 9, I'd like 8.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought, I didn't see any listed.
I did put a thing
Okay.
listed, but I guess my comments.
So you have a concern regarding agenda matters?
It goes about the sewers. I'd like to make a comment.
Do we have the sewers on the agenda?
Yes, I think they are.
All
coming
right,
up.
good.
Does the sanitary sewer districts of Wolf, Mandel, Country Gardens, and Pinecrest still have monies collected?
Can I stop you for a moment?
Oh, yes.
Identify yourself. and
Oh,
tell us
I'm
where you
Ronald
live.
Pryor. I live at 1015 East Wildwood Drive.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. Does the monies that was collected from these districts, do they still have an account that's open? And what will happen to the money when we become consolidated with the old town?
All right, who's most familiar with
Nick,
that?
would you mind if I?
Sure, go ahead.
Ron, I did get your email. Thank you very
Okay.
much. Okay. And I had requested the information on what the fund balances were. Did we get those?
Yes.
Okay, and
There is negative $95,399. SSA 1 owes the city $95,000. So
And do we know what area SSA 1 is?
we have a map.
Do any of them have a positive balance?
Yes, so SSA 2 has a positive balance of $40,000. SSA 3 has $340,000, and SSA 4 has $40,000.
Okay.
Right, to answer your question, what we were looking at doing, but we have not finalized anything yet, was to take the funds from the SSA, the specific area that it's serving, and utilize those to do improvements within that area. Instead of taking that money and consolidating it into a single fund, that would be going in and taking care of those areas. And then moving forward, everything would be consolidated into that single fund and then used as a blanket across all of them. But your money, should there be a positive balance in there, will be used specifically for your system,
Okay.
for an upgrade.
That was basically because I tried my darndest to look and get some information on it, but even on the computer, I couldn't come up with anything.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
I apologize for not getting
Oh, that's
to you
all right.
earlier, but I just requested the information this morning.
I know, and I was only a couple days ago I sent it.
Okay.
I wasn't sure, so I thought since they were going to talk about the SERS tonight, I should bring it up.
And if you want, you can feel free to call me. I'll respond to your
Okay, sure.
email with my phone number.
Well, I thought maybe you're researching it too, because it's something maybe nobody has brought up. All the information I have from the SER meeting didn't say anything about the funds. But, okay, well, thank you.
All right, thanks, Ron.
All right, thank you, and pass that on to your neighbors.
Pardon me?
You should pass that on to your neighbors.
Oh, yes.
People to talk to, and
One of my neighbors.
they're
brought
always
up to me,
welcome
and
to come, you know.
I said, gee, I haven't read anything about that.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right, sir, what's next?
That brings us to the Chicago Executive Airport Report.
Good evening again. Our physical budget has been approved by both City of Prospect Heights and the Village of Wheeling. Thank you very much. And it will begin on May 1st. It was just announced today that the State of Illinois Division of Aeronautics has a state local project funding program this year. It's one that we did not anticipate. We received a letter today from IDOT that they will be awarding a project to rehabilitate Tower Road. Very bad shape. It's still under the original. The state will cover $283,500 of the project. Airport share will be $31,500. The airport board was briefly contacted last week at our meeting by the new consultants of Mead and Hunt. They are the company that will be doing the noise exposure maps. They're done every 5 years. Our last one was 2011. The consultants explained the process of creating a noise exposure map. They will also be explaining the project in complete detail at our joint meeting, just as a reminder, which will be on Wednesday, June the 28th. I'll give you a little bit more details of that in just a moment. There'll be an open house that will be held, as well as an official public hearing. Those dates will be announced very shortly. Once the project is completed and submitted to the FAA, housing units and other structures within the 65 DNL, which stands for day-night level. The contour will be eligible for participating in noise migration programs, similar to sound insulation, should the airport decide to establish such a program. And again, a reminder that the joint meeting will be held at the Westin North Shore. The regular board meeting, we're doing a double that evening, will start at 4 o'clock, and then the joint meeting will begin at 7 p.m. As I mentioned, Mead and Hunt will be flying in from Denver. They will be there. And the last reminder is that the annual Rock and Run at the airport will be held on Saturday, July the 1st. Information is available on our website. Sign-ups have already started, so if you'd like to come and walk the runway or run, please join us. Questions?
Quick question before everyone else.
Please.
Identify the location of Tower Road for us.
Tower Road is right at the base of the tower, of the FAA tower. It is off of Milwaukee. It has the beautiful signage. It's kind of like the welcome into Chicago Executive Airport, and that is Tower Road.
Thank you. Any other questions, please?
Thank you.
Questions down here?
No question.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Great
Thank you,
report.
everybody.
Thank you.
I presume, Mr. Administrator, someone else is handling the fireworks, which is on the same day, right?
Right. The fireworks, a great assembly of bands, music, live music, food, beverages. It'd be a great time.
Good. Good.
And we'll have more information coming out about that as well.
All right, moving on, we had the State Senator Tom Rooney at the town hall meeting, his town hall meeting, held here in our hallowed halls. And some of you I know Tom Rooney. He's a dynamic guy. He's a teacher. He's got credentials longer than most dictionaries. And he came here to tell us some things. And what was interesting to me is that, in the past I've been criticized for showing ribbon cuttings on our very expensive TV. And I have no problem showing just two minutes of what happened here. And it has to do with perception and reality. We have great perception as being a great city and things are going well. And you know what? That's the reality of the whole situation. So don't take offense because he was saying good things about me. Think about my face being representative of the city. Can we roll that? Oh, that's good. That's me. One of my favorite things is, not so often, is to present a key to our city. But this key in particular, Tom, is not meant to open any doors in our city. It's meant to unlock the brains of people down in Springfield. And I'm sure you can get that done. And I know you can get that done. So treasure this. It's got our name on it. And I'm really pleased that you're here tonight. So take it away, Tom Rooney, Senator, State of Illinois, and Springfield bound almost daily, or you're down there a week or two at a time. And that's got to be a tough ride. So I'm pleased that you're here, and I welcome you.
Well, thank you, Nick, very much. Let me start by saying if this key is to open the brains of people in Springfield, if you can order me up 176 others, that would be really nice, because there are 177 of us down there between the two chambers. I would like to very briefly just blah, blah for a second. Any Yahoo who comes into a setting like this will always say, oh, Mayor Helmer, thank you so much, and I hope you all understand what a wonderful mayor, blah, 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 blah. Nick and I started as mayors together. I can actually say Nick and I know each other very well, and so it's not just blah, 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 read off a bio sheet of paper. That I think Nick is one of the very strongest voices in the Northwest Municipal Conference. When we get together at those things, he's always standing up for doing the right things. I've seen him go into a room where people are voting on something all the way around, and we don't very often get no's. But Nick has said, I'm sorry, I don't think my community would support this particular thing, so I'm saying no. And I think when people have the gumption to do that, it shows they're representing their people very well. He's a gentleman that I've gotten to know very well, and I appreciate the leadership that he's shown in the Northwest Municipal Conference. I'm sure that that kind of leadership comes through in Prospect Heights, too. And I genuinely mean that because we actually know each other. So let's see, if I...
The point is, not because he said those nice things about me, the point is that's the way he feels about our city. And that's really what it's all about. Perception, reality. He had a great, it wasn't a big crowd, 25, 28 people, and he really explained the budget and what could be done with the budget and what he would do. And it was a good meeting for all. I know, Pat, you spent some time here. Matt, you were here. And who else? Anyone else here? No. So it was a good meeting. That's all I have to say. Moving on.
Before we move on, I have a question. Can you put that town hall meeting on the website?
I think it'll be on the, what's your intention, Richard?
It's on the front page of the website.
Okay.
Click on the front page of the website, it'll take you to the video.
Very good. Thank you.
All right. Joe?
Which brings us to item C, council discussion of sanitary sewer rate study and reinvestment plan town hall. This was, the meeting was held, a little over a week and a half ago.
All right.
Any follow-up, any feedback from that? Certainly a well-attended meeting.
I think it was very well attended. I do think that It was also, oddly enough, well-received. Mayor, there were a few people that were asking what your take on it was, as far as, which option you wanted to proceed with. And I'd like to ask, which way are you leaning towards? There were three options that we were presented.
Well, my major concern is how are we going to do the job? Do we have to hire more people? Do we have to build a new building? Do we have to buy infrastructure, equipment, whatever it is? I was all in favor of selling the Old Town Sanitary District, as you well know. We had presentations here for, what was it, Illinois American Water, Joe?
Correct.
And I thought that was a pretty good deal. That would not have obviated the cost to the citizens, but nevertheless, it would have taken some burden off our shoulders. I think overall, it's a necessity. I got my bill already, I'm sure some of you did, $19.25 when it used to be $6. I can understand why people might be upset about that. But we've got, and it was all told at the meeting, that we have 60-year-old, in some cases, clay tile sewers. We have a lot of unknown situations. We have to, I think, televise the entire sewer system. There's a lot of work to do. My question really is, who's going to do it? But that's something we have to work on at the council level, and I'm sure we'll get it done. We know what we're doing. We like what we're doing, and the consensus was to go ahead and go ahead with this rather than selling the system. That's my only comments.
Well, if I could clear it up, we have not seen the increase yet. The $19.50 bill that you got is still the $6.50 bill that is billed quarterly. Okay, we haven't done any consolidation. We haven't approved any moving forward.
My wife handles all the bills, and she's not here.
Well, I just don't want any miscommunication.
No, that's good. I'm glad you clarified that. I don't see the bills, and I saw this one, and I thought that was awful quick. We just had a town hall meeting, and here's the first bill coming through. And it's close to the number that was discussed at the town hall meeting. So that's all I have. Anyone else?
Yeah, I think the meeting, I would agree with what Alderman Williamson said. The meeting was well-intended. I think it was an educational experience, not only for the community, but for some of us sitting up in front as well. The engineer that represented the company, I can't remember his name right now, was very, very well-informed, answered questions that were, most of them were right on target. A couple were somewhere out in right field, but that's always the case. But I think it was a very positive experience, and the community after the meeting, some of them came up and said, we should do more of these informal, information type things. So I would agree with Scott on that.
Anyone else, please? Mr. Administrator?
Which brings us to item D, January Treasurer's Report by Finance Director Stephanie Hannon.
The city is currently ahead of 2015-16 levels in net income by $127,289. The city's revenues are down $254,005 from the prior year due to lower building and zoning fees of $206,186. Last year, we had the Greenbrier and the storage facility, which brought in extra money higher than the amount that we've collected this year. So due to the developments from last year, we are lower in that area of revenues. Interfund transfers are down by $170,438. That is due to the tourism district. Now that the funds are depleted, the revenues are coming in a month or two delayed, and the actual grant revenues are given 3 months after they have been incurred. So there is a timing revenues there, and then we have higher OTB revenues of $73,455. The expenses compared to last year are lower than the prior year due to less funding expended in capital improvements. We had more drainage improvements last year than we have this year. Plus, we had the police firing range, and we had paving of the municipal parking lot. Currently, we are anticipating we're ahead of budget year-to-date, but we anticipate to be at budget due to timing of expenses. So that is the report. Any questions?
Yes, a couple of questions.
Uh-huh.
The interfund, is that only the CVB money, or is that all interfund transfers?
That's the only interfund transfer we have, is the tourism district. That's the only interfund transfers we have.
Okay. And the other question had to do with the CVB too. I noticed that we still have a fund balance instead of $400 and some thousand in one of the reports, but the amount of the reserve is gone. Is that $400,000, is that actually in the bank right now? Is that what that is?
Yes, we have
Oh, it's
$439 in the bank because we pay the quarterly payments. So what happens is May, June, and July actual costs by the hotels are not paid until August. So there's a delay of 3 months, so it's a cash flow difference. So we receive the monies, and then we don't pay them till 3 months after.
Okay.
So that's why there's a balance. But, so the cash will be there, but then when we'll be recording a payable at the end of the year. So the balance there's going to be leftover from beautification, so there will be a balance of more than the $50,000 per the agreement at the end of this year.
Okay, then the last question is you show the capital amount on there is $509,000 year-to-date, actual year-to-date, under the expense side, the capital improvements. Is that just the CIP program, or is that anything that you call capital? Is that?
Capital would be equipment, drainage, roads, anything that would be considered capital improvements.
So
would be
only
anything
for the
over 20.
program?
Not only, it's anything that would be in the CIP budget would be in that, correct.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? All right, moving on.
There's no consent agenda tonight, which brings us to old business, 11. 11A is an ordinance and staff memo establishing water rates for 2017-2018. This is second reading. And item 11B is an ordinance and staff memo approving the fiscal year 2017-18 budget for the city of Prospect Heights. As these are both second readings, we could, should the council desire, entertain an omnibus motion for these.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion? There being none, roll call, please.
Alderman Williamson.
Aye.
Alderman Rosenthal.
Aye.
Alderman Ludwigson.
Aye.
Alderman Messer.
Aye.
Alderman Dolick.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Item 12 is new business, and this is an ordinance and staff memo approving a special use permit for a sit-down restaurant at 1300 North Rand Road for Elsie's Place Cafe. This is first reading. I'm going to ask Building and Community Development Director Peterson to explain this. And we also have from the company, from Elsie's Place, is Mr. Chuck Knobloch.
Thank you very much. Tonight, Mr. Knobloch here for the first reading of the ordinance recommending approval of a sit-down restaurant. Last month, Elsie's Cafe was heard by the Plan Commission. It was discussed the type of food services menu operations. There were questions, and the project received a 5-to-1 vote for recommending approval. So Mr. Knobloch is here to answer any questions. I can answer any questions that the council may have.
You're here.
I'm here.
Look it over there. Identify yourself, please.
Chuck Knobloch. I live in Streamwood, Illinois. I'm the Director of Operations for Elsie's.
And give us an idea as what's going to happen over there.
Well, we're obviously hoping to get approval, but I was at your workshop meeting, if we remember, and we're still working on the menu, which I promised by the second reading I'll have it. And we're also making, I think I've talked to Dan about this, some alter to our kitchen, because we're adding some equipment to do fried items and some other things, which again is creating some work for me to do a new menu that'll hopefully be a little more exciting and a little bit more acceptable.
All right, questions? Alderman Williamson?
Hi.
How you doing?
Good. It's good to see you again. What is the current business plan? I mean, there's been back and forth, and I know that there was discussion of minors being allowed to go in before certain hours, and I'm curious now what the final plan is.
Well, as far as the minors, we've decided not to do that. It's just too difficult to accept it under 21 years of age. We look at the fines that are levied to the people that don't abide by the law, and sometimes it's $10,000, sometimes it's a revocation of license. So it's just not to our better manner to do that. But to further address Alderman Ludwig's concerns last time, I think the food issue has kind of been, because I think we operate as well as anybody as far as a business standpoint. We've got a lot of business experience. But when we talk about the food, a couple things that I don't think I clarified, and it might not make any difference to your opinion, but I think I should share it, is when we got this location, it's obviously much bigger than what we would need if we were just going to do video gaming alone, which is 1,100, 1,200 square feet will do that. I think, Dan, this is
26 or 2,300 or 2,365 square feet.
So we have a lot more tables. We have, 54 seats, 45 to 54 seats, give or take. But I think to address some of your concerns, and it'll make a difference or not, is, and I thought about this more thoroughly after the workshop, is some of the things that we do so we don't just give up on the food sales like maybe some of the others have done or served out of freezer to whatever. A couple of things that we do is all of our stores, we have a daily special board. We do daily specials. We reduce our food for daily specials, and it actually helps quite a bit. All of our products, a lot of our products are handmade, and if they are reheated, they're reheated in a convection oven, or we fry them. But we do have, as far as equipment, we have a prep table, sandwich table, fryer, so we can actually do food that is good, that I can be proud to serve, and people would like it if they give it a chance. Okay. Secondly, we do carryouts, which a lot of them don't do. If people want to carry out, we do a carryout. As far as our advertisements, when we do a direct mail, we always include food specials when you bring in. Have a coupon, come in. When we do a grand opening, if we're fortunate enough to get approval, and we do a ribbon cutting or whatever, we do food sampling for the whole first week. So people can try our food and say, give it a shot. And if you like it, and that's the key to it. I mean, people got to try it, because the business model, as you said before, sometimes it makes it a little tough because people are maybe looking at you as a food establishment. We do a lot of different things, though, to continue to promote food. And if it doesn't work, we have temporary items and we'll rotate in and out. Products that don't sell, we add new products. We continue to work on it. And we also have a calendar that we give all the customers. We do a calendar every month, and they're full of either food specials or drink specials or things like that. So, and we always do sampling and things like that. And one thing we don't do is give up on it. As I think I've talked to the Alderman Livingston about this last time, we're not going to quit on it if it's not happening to be the way we think it should be. Because, quite frankly, this business is, and not here, but there's some oversaturation that's developed around the state. And if people think they're going to rely on video gaming, it's a fallacy. I mean, in some cases that could work, but you've really got to work on other revenue streams, which is what our goal was from the beginning. So, hope I didn't get exasperated with you too much, but that's I wanted to share that with you, because that's a belief that I will stand behind. If you come in 6 months down the road, you will still see food specials, you'll still see daily calendars, things like that, and the manager will offer, the people that work there will offer those things. And if people request it and never tried it, we'll allow them to sample. So, I mean, I think I don't know if that answered your question entirely, but when we added this tables, we are putting a serious effort into trying to develop some other business revenue, a lot more from the food than we have had in the past. And we've learned a lot by talking to our customers about what works and what doesn't, and that's why we added this fryer and some other things. So we're going to give it our best effort, and I think it'll work. I really do.
Alderman Messer?
I have no questions or comments.
Alderman Rosenthal?
No questions.
Alderman Dolik?
Could you just refresh my memory as far as the seating capacity and the hours of operation that you had planned?
The hours of operation will be either 8 or 9 in the morning till 11 at night during the weekdays and midnight on weekends. I think your current liquor license, correct me if I'm wrong, Dan, would go to 1 in the morning for just beer and wine.
Saturday and Friday and Saturday.
Is 1, and we will stay at midnight. We usually stay at midnight because we do have cameras and things like that, but that extra hour is not, the way we schedule it, at 1 o'clock is a little tough. But we do open either 8 or 9 in the morning, depending on, some of our stores do 8, some do 9. The majority of them, other than Justice, stays open till 1. All of them are 11 during the week, 12 on Fridays and Saturdays.
And what was the seating capacity?
I think it's 54.
The current floor plan that was in the packet shows for 45 non-gaming seats.
45, okay.
And then 5 gaming seats, so approximately 50 in here. This may change as this was the original equipment floor plan, so when we get the new floor plan with the additional equipment, it may change, but it would be minor, maybe a table
Okay.
at this.
Maybe.
So all of those are available for sit-down dining?
That's correct. And the tables are away from the gaming area, so they're actually in front where the manager can talk to them. There'll be a TV there in a sitting area, and there'll be a comfortable area where if you want to eat, you're not right next to the gaming area, so.
All right, thank you.
All right, have we done it? Anyone else? First reading, no votes will be taken. You're still here? Go ahead.
Questions. You made the comment that anybody who gets into this and thinks they're going to do it with video gaming only is fooling themselves. I'm sorry, Rich. I will talk in the cone. But my question is, if you're going to do that coming out of the gate, why would you want to limit it to 21 and older when you are across the street, literally a parking lot across the street from 2,500 kids who every day walk to Jimmy John's, Lola's, Tony's, and all eat, of which Lola's has a liquor license. And they don't have a problem with having the high school kids come there. They got specials just for the kids to come there and eat. And they do serve beer and wine to people if they're over 21. Unfortunately, I think what you've done is by doing what you've said so far today has kind of like made me even more believe that the real purpose of this is purely the video gaming, because you wouldn't want to restrict your crowd if you were a restaurant. And the variation, or what you went for, the special use, was for a restaurant. So to out of the gate say you're not going to sell food to anybody under 21 or even allow them in there, I mean, it, to me, speaks volumes. Unless it's on the flip side, that you're going to be a bar, and there's going to be people coming in, and you're going to sell a lot of alcohol. But at the last meeting, you had said that you would be lucky, or it would be your high volume location if you were to do $2,500 a month in food there. So I question how you get a special use for a restaurant if you're saying you're only going to do $2,500 a month. And I don't have to be a forensic accountant to know that if I add up the almost $5,000 liquor license you're going to buy and the rent that you're going to pay, even if you were to take all the money you generate in your food, if you were the highest generator at this Elsie's of any location you have, it still wouldn't even total in total revenue without food costs for people what you're going to be paying in rent and liquor license. So how can you comfort me with that?
Well, on the food, I think I can do better than that number. I really do. When I've been working on this menu, I think I can do much better than 2,500. I really do.
Even if you 5,000, when you say do,
I think that's more reasonable. 20? I think that's more reasonable. The latter number. I think if we do it right and we promote it properly, I think we got a shot at it. As far as the underaged, and Hal will be here for the second reading, the owner. I know you've all met him before. He is not for that at all. I kind of went, but I didn't explain it like you did, so I can give it another shot. I did not win that argument. I kind of wanted to, I think somebody, I don't know if an Alderman Williamson brought that up, or maybe from the zoning board, at least until 7 o'clock at night, allow under 21. And it was brought up with ownership, and I failed on that attempt. So I personally, I'm okay with it. But when they see the fines and levies and things go on, I think it scares them.
Yeah, the fines only scare you if you're going to break the rules. I mean, it's like having a liquor license and saying, I'm afraid to have anybody under 21 here.
True.
All our other locations that have video gaming and liquor, which you have to have that video gaming, don't have a requirement of 21 unless they are a cafe, video gaming cafe similar to your.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you.
So all the restaurants and all those you can bring your kids to, and there's no issue with that unless they're.
I think I will discuss it again. He will be here because I never explained to him the opportunity of the under 21 like you just did. I just discussed what your thoughts were and Alderman Williamson's.
I think, though, for me to be comfortable with that, we'd have to have that in the special use. We'd have to have that language in there that your hours of operation for anybody under 21 or over 21 is specified, because I couldn't just say, well, you're going to try it, and then, 6 months later, you're going to say, forget it, we just want to go to all 21. That wouldn't be right. To me, that's not what a restaurant is about. I mean, I couldn't imagine, if every location that had alcohol said, we're not going to allow somebody here that's, 21, there'd be a lot of places that would not have kids in it.
Yeah,
and the video gaming hasn't been an issue with people at the other locations, so I get what you're doing, believe me. I mean, to hit this to the nub, I get what you're doing. I don't like it. I don't like the video gaming cafe, which I see this as being. Even the mayor at the last meeting has said that that we need to do something to curb the number of video gaming locations coming in to the city right now, since we are non-home rule. So because of what you've said and everything else, and just doing the math says you can't survive on the food alone, saying you're going to do $2,500 a month worth of food.
Oh, no, the gaming is part of that. I'll be lying to tell you that's a big part of the business, no doubt about it. What I'm saying is, though, you need other sales other than gaming. I think a lot of the places in Prospect Heights are doing well, but if you look at the overall state numbers, there's a lot of people that are not, and they continue to grow thinking it's a, so the philosophy of running this business with just the gaming in mind, I mean, it's just, it's never been right for me, because that's not where my background is. I mean, obviously we make revenue from that, but I'm with you on that. I mean,
the gaming numbers are public. I mean,
yes,
the cafes are doing 170, 200,000 in revenue to themselves a year. So even if you're throwing 5,000 a month at food, if you were taking that in at a 50%, food cost and labor and everything, it's just, there's no justification to saying that this is a restaurant. And that's what you're here asking us for. You're not here asking for video. You're here asking us for a restaurant. And, in some places, when you do that kind of analysis, you say, well, that's kind of a shady thing. Why would you have $2,500 in food sales, ask for a special use for a restaurant, unless it was about the video gaming, which the state says you're not supposed to do. You're supposed to be a regular going concern liquor and food location.
well, if you run the numbers, though, say you run a 30% or 35 food, 50 is not, I mean, if you promo it out, it's 50, but let's say it's 30, and you do 5,000, that leaves $3,500. And if your employee's not doing much, here's the other thing where I talk about food, that person's not doing anything. The person or the persons you have there is serving drinks or beverages to the gamers. There's plenty of time for them to make food. You know what I'm saying? So without adding additional labor,
I understand.
So there is potential.
How many locations are you working 2 people?
Just one.
I know. And
We started with 2 and then with 2.
So if me and 44 friends came to your place, unlike
She'd be calling me.
unlike the restaurants that have this, that could take that influx because they've got 6, 8 people working there. It's just, I know it's what you have to do, but it's just not right. And and we're to the point now where the first people that came here completely tried to hide it and say, well, I used to be part of PF Chang's or whatever, and they'd sell this food thing, and it really was. You're at least honest, and you're here saying it's about the video gaming, which unfortunately we've gotten to that point, and I just.
Well, like I said before, I think one of the and I don't know how many are here. One never made the effort, and the other one, you have to look at your customer and see what they want, and you can't sell something that's a high end for $9.99 to if the customer isn't that type of customer to pay. You know what I'm saying? I think the competitors have, and then they gave up. And I'm telling you, I think you asked me before, that we're not going to give up. It is part of our business model. Is there a ton of money in food? Probably not, but I think there's a lot of potential to make more. And again, it was part of all of our original budgets to make a certain amount on the food. The liquor, I mean, we make a good money on the liquor, but it's not something that we want to, it's drive, because I don't want problems with excessive drinking either, so, yes.
Mayor, to Alderman Ludvigson's point, their experience has told us that the food is minimal. So with another place that's across the street, the other mall, let's say we're getting $5 a month for food receipts. you know, if you were to go 600% times that, that's going to bring you to your $2,500. That's a steep hill to climb, and especially if you're expecting that to be a 21 and over crowd, because immediately across the street from that, you have a home bar, which is where the 21 to 35-year-old people are going to be. And then a little bit further down, you have Penny's Place, which is the crowd that you're sharing. So in my heart of hearts, I mean, I like the concept better than I like others. However, I don't see how you're going to increase food receipts by 600% based on our experience. Because it's different, but kind of the same.
Well, I'll say one thing to that. If you go in there, there is not one place, anything you see that offers food. Nothing, the place you're referring to. So you're not going to sell any food. It's just not going to happen.
But I mean, even your Facebook only talks about the video gaming. It doesn't talk about the food. So it's, I hear what you're saying. I'm not seeing it though. You know what I'm saying? I don't see that you're stepping out different than Penny's or Stella's when it comes to the food. I know you're telling us that, but it's the Facebook page itself just talks about the video gaming. So
Yeah.
I mean, everybody has their own opinion. They can vote how they like, but we're being asked to approve a special use restaurant. And if we double your expectations, there's no way you could survive as a food restaurant. And that's what you're asking us for approval for.
To further what I was saying, I also feel that that area is just saturated now. I think that to put a third one there and put 15 machines out there versus 10, I don't see that many people in the seats over at another one that would say, hey, we have a need for a third one in the immediate area. So those are my reservations.
All right, anyone else, please? Okay, this is the first reading, there's no vote taken, there's nothing else going to happen.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 13, Mr. Mayor, is discussion, selection of topics for upcoming workshop meeting. Items listed previously, the review of the liquor code. As the workshop will be our next meeting, this is an opportunity for council to discuss items for upcoming topics.
All right, Alderman Ludwigson?
Joe, is there any need to have discussion about the sewer issue? Does staff have everything they need to move forward with that, or is there anything else that we need to talk about?
Well, maybe just formally to see which of the proposals discussed at that, so we could do that evening. There were three proposals from, or three models from Municipal Financial Services, and we could use that time to discuss which one we want to move forward with.
Okay.
That'd be good. Be a good topic. It might bring that to closure, I think.
Anyone else? All right, so we can add that in.
And that's a good one.
Okay.
Thank you. Item 14 is approval of the warrants.
Okay, we have total expenses this period, $106,555.55. April 14th, payroll posting, $145,595.61. 4/10/2017 IMRF payment, $29,669.53. 4/19/2017 police pension payment, $42,182.08, with total warrants in the amount of $324,002.77.
Move approval.
Second?
Any further discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Alderman Dolick?
Aye.
Alderman Musser?
Aye.
Alderman Rosenthal?
Aye.
Alderman Ludwigson?
Aye.
Alderman Williamson?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Do we have any president comment slips turned in
I've not received any.
for non-agenda matters?
No.
We're going to do staff reports and alderman reports?
You can start, please.
Well, thank you, sir.
You win.
I have no report. I have a thank you for Peter Falcone, who's not here, who I hope is winning a ton of money in Vegas. But for all that he's taken on recently, and he's doing a great job, and I'll tell him personally, but I did want to publicly say something. Secondly, I'd like to ask that we add discussion of specific personnel to the closed session that we'll have tonight.
Well, we generally cover that item among others, so.
Yeah, there's a couple items for executive session.
Right, right. And we'll count that in.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I have no report.
My
Alderman,
report was earlier.
What's that?
My report was earlier.
Yes, I saw that. Thank you. Thanks for reminding me. All right, anyone else down the row here? Alderman Rosenthal.
The strategic, excuse me, the Strategic Directions Committee will meet this Wednesday at 7 p.m. here in the council chambers, and we'll have a presentation following up on our discussion and direction setting that we did at the last meeting.
All right, Alderman Dolan.
I have no report.
Alderman Ludwigson.
Just that everybody should go and watch that video of the senator's comments about the state and their budget situation. It's he's extremely optimistic. After hearing him, it was bad from the what I knew about it before, but what he explained makes it sound like we're never going to get out of it. I mean, it's really bad. So I would suggest everybody go watch that and then look at your city and see how good a job we're doing compared to the state. So it's something to see. So I'd watch it. That's
All right.
it.
Anyone else? Anything open? Let's move on to executive session. Why are we going to meet?
2 reasons, Mayor: the appointment, employment, performance, or dismissal of specific employee, and the setting of price for sale or lease of property owned by the public body.
All right. Motion to, pardon me?
I move that we go into executive session for the reasons stated by our attorney.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
We expect no business to be conducted after this session. All in favor of going into session, please say aye.
Aye.